everyone, today we're going to be reviewing a almost 10-year-old Lego set. This is the 2016 U-Wing that retailed for $80 in the United States. It's 659 pieces and is set number 75155. And this set has honestly aged very well. We're going to take a look at the minifigures first before we take a look at the set itself. First minifigure in the set of Jyn Erso. I am missing her weapon and her cape, which kind of sucks because I'm pretty sure that cape is worth a little bit. It definitely adds a lot to the value of this minifigure. However, I do not 100% like this minifigure. I think it's good, but just there's some minor flaws I have. I think the printing should have been brown. I guess the piece on it, the color should have been brown on her torso to match her vest, which is the outermost layer. I think the outermost layer should be what the color is because that's the color that should be all the way around. Her inside layer is gray. They could have at least tried to print a gray. I think would have worked better. But it's still an okay minifigure. Her back torso is, again, okay. It's nothing to write home about. However, the molding on her head with the hair and helmet mold is honestly amazing. And she does have a second-sided face. And honestly, not the best minifigure in the world, but not a horrible Jyn Erso. The helmet mold is honestly amazing. It has a nice silver printing right there. And has just good printing all the way around. And is honestly just still a very decent minifigure at that. With Cassian Andor, and this Andor is honestly such a good minifigure. I really enjoy it. Here is the Andor from the new U-Wing to compare it to really quick before we continue, and there are some major differences which we will get into in my comparison between these two sets next week, but again, it's still very good Andor, and I really like this minifigure for what it is. Here's a quick look at the back printing. He has his coat on, and again, his face printing is amazing. It's the exact same except it's a whiter skin tone, but it's still amazing minifigure at that. The pilot of the U-Wing, and this minifigure ranges from $10 to $15 on the open market right now, which is not bad, but it's literally just because of the helmet itself. So if you have this helmet laying around, you have a pretty wealthy minifigure right here. $10 is not so bad at all. Again, there's the back printing. These pilot minifigures have been good for years. It's honestly amazing. The white printing is a little faded, but it's not completely horrible. Again, also that this minifigure has the normal, I guess, minifigure pilot printing for their heads in this time frame because this was the main one they used for almost every pilot. The next two characters, I'm not sure of their names, but we have two Rebel minifigures. The first one up has a beautiful head mold, which is definitely not a cheap minifigure anymore. This probably is around a $20 minifigure to my guess, and it's honestly such a cool character in the Star Wars universe, and it's just a cool minifigure overall. There's nothing I'd really like to say about it except that I really like it, and that mine has a huge arm crack down it, which I didn't notice until the second, so that kind of sucks. But anyways, we can move on to the other Rebel minifigure, which this one also has a beautiful helmet mold as well that I really like. It's very similar to the Rebel Trooper ones that we gotten last year in the battle pack. I guess it's kind of like a 2-in-1 pack. Anyways, his head printing is very simple. He only has one face, and again, there's a better look at his back printing, and honestly, still a very good minifigure. Nothing too crazy on this one either. Here again, we have the U-Wing. Now this U-Wing is very large. Here is my hand for scale. My hand covers around the main body of the ship. So again, it is a very large model. And again, this is an $80 set. It is a not cheap Lego set, especially for Star Wars. It has 650 pieces. However, there's a lot of large pieces in this. And $80 doesn't feel horrible. It just feels like a lot, but it's still a very good set in my opinion. Look at some of the play features. First, we have two spring-loaded shooters, one here and here, and you just fire them by pressing here and here. And that one's kind of a dud, that one fell out, which happens from time to time. And they'll show out here and here. And that is just the main play feature that they have to get into Lego Star Wars sets. Next, we can go into the main cockpit of the set. There is two ways to open this. You can open it like this, which is pretty simple. Or there's the not necessary way, but pretty cool way, is by pushing this forward. It opens the cockpit a little bit so you can get your hand underneath. And then you have room for a minifigure inside, and then you can close it up. In this area, there's also, if you take the minifigure out, holes to the inside of the set back there and to the front of the set right here, which on the underside has this little piece right here. Well, it's not very little, but that very large window piece right there to look into the interior. However, that doesn't really happen in this set that much. We can take a look at the back of this as well, and there is a little drop down here, which is an imaginary loading ramp that you can enter the set in. Now, we can get to two of the main other features of the set. The main feature of the set is that you can open the wings and move them all the way out to that angle. And of course, we can do it to the other side as well. And then we can get this absolutely massive wingspan. And this wingspan is honestly so big. Again, here's my hand. My middle finger goes about half the length. So this wingspan is absolutely huge. It honestly spans this entire span of those two shelves, and there's 2 Star Destroyers right there and an Imperial Light Cruiser. So it has a very, very large wingspan. The look of this build with the wings open is very cool. It can swoosh around very easily, but again, it does feel a little bit big, which is very important to the last feature of the set. The last feature of the set, it's very simple. All you have to do is open this out and push it back, and you have an open interior. Now, I removed some pieces from this interior. I did so because I wanted to fit 4 minifigures, and I was able to do that. There used to be 2 stud shooters, 1 on either side, and 2 pieces, like bracket pieces, to stop the center so minifigures could sit. Now, I'm gonna try to fit 4 minifigures in this area. Able to do it. If we open this up really quick, there's 2 minifigures on that side, and if we turn it around, trying to keep the whole thing in frame, we can fit 2 more minifigures on the other side. Now, the best way I found to do this was having to take the door kind of off its hinges. Door off its hinges, you just turn it to its side, and you pull that down, and you kind of have to move it out a little bit, and then you can move that up, and then the door is off its hinges. Then you have better access to the small interior that you do get in the set. And again, the interior is not massive on this set, but compared to the new one, it is much bigger and much more desirable space that you really get, and it's a nice space. It's not a Republic gunship. It's by any means, it's not a Republic gunship, but you can comfortably fit 4 minifigures if you just take this off. And yes, there's a piece missing here as well. I've been looking for it. It's a very difficult piece to find in my collection, in any collection in my opinion. But yeah, that's pretty much everything on this set. Let me put this back and we can talk about it. Perfect. So that, again, this is everything on this set. For 80 bucks back in the day, you're not getting a bad deal whatsoever. This is probably running around 150 right now, I want to say, on the open market if you wanted to get it used. But it's probably worth a bit more than that now, I'd imagine. Is around 216 for this, so it's definitely worth buying the new one if you haven't, and I'll explain why more in my comparison video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all later. Make sure to like and subscribe, and goodbye.